Hello, good morning, and welcome to Feedback Friday Art Edition. I am your host, Jacob Johnson. How is everybody doing in the chat today? Opening my chat window, dragging it somewhere where I can see it, and then later ignore it. I'm the worst. Wash is sleeping on the couch. How's it going, everybody? Hi. All right. Let me just make sure that any spoilerish windows are hidden when I switch my camera over. So obviously today we are doing art. What was that? It's probably going to be a long one too. I plan on working on a new mouse, and they're highly detailed mice. Thus far, they've been taking me over 2 days to complete one. So I don't know how much we're going to get done today. Honestly, I'm usually very productive during the live sessions, so we might get through quite a bit, or it might be quite a struggle, and maybe we can only end up getting a sketch done. Who knows? Probably gonna get mostly rendered, I hope. But yeah, we have to kind of work that out together. Hyped for a creepy beefy. Yeah, so as you may have seen on my art page, I posted for the 9-year birthday a little kind of spoiler about what I've been working on, and the very first mouse that we created that I made over 9 years ago now versus the most recent creation I had done. And I'd say there's a bit of a difference. Pretty happy with that. I'm actually very excited about, let's see, less than a week. Actually, on Monday, I'm going to be starting a new art course that I'm going to be participating in. Like probably 7 years ago, maybe, I took an online correspondence class on advanced lighting techniques. And that was taught by Sam Nielsen. Really very good instructor, knows how to kind of like really get into the science of the art and stuff like that. So I learned a lot from him, and he's starting a new class that I'm really excited to take. So I convinced HitGrab to get me into that class. So I'm going to be doing that during the evenings, 9 weeks. So it should be interesting. I'm sure I'll be bringing practices and knowledge from that class to future Feedback Fridays. So might get to see me talking about that as I art for you guys. Yeah, and I might be posting stuff from that. Maybe I'm not sure if I will on my art page because it is art relevant. And generally, I only post Feedback Friday stuff these days, but I've been kind of getting that itch to do my own personal stuff, which is really nice because I haven't really had that itch in a long time. So should be cool. So yeah, as many of you have probably sussed out or being told by Dave or whatnot, we are now going into the, what is it, the Bristlewoods? I think it's Bristlewoods. I should know the name of it. I'm just kind of looking at the list of mice and kind of crafting from that. But we are working on a new rift area. Very exciting, very cool. I am not totally sure what mouse I'm going to work on today. I haven't totally decided. Sorry, just looking at the chat now. Like how I use the word usually. Yeah. There's a cool fan art of a Rift Keeper in the forums. Ooh, really? I'd be interested to see that. New hairdo. Yeah, I've just been growing it out. I've just kind of been lazy. I've actually like, like, oh no, it's long enough that I could like put it in a ponytail at this point. Maybe I'm gonna try and rival Giorgio's luscious, beautiful flowy hair. Um, Jacob, what happened to the skin near your nose? It grew hair, I guess. Don't know. Don't know what you're referring to. Yeah, Bristlewood Rift. Um, should be pretty cool. We got a lot of really neat gameplay stuff that we're exploring. I'm excited about it. Should be fun. Also, I wanted to see what you guys thought of the new Fort Rocks stuff that came out. It was something that I was heavily involved in kind of designing, and I hope you guys are kind of very excited about what you're doing. If you're doing it, if you're not, kind of curious to see. So far, I've completed 3 maps and haven't gotten anything, but that is just how it goes. The new law trap doesn't exactly look like a trap. I can't deny that. That was something that I had priority on kind of creating, and I was struggling with the concept of it, and I wanted it to kind of like involve the meteor itself, and I just kind of like I guess I threw in the towel on kind of the design of that. I just wanted to create something, and then figured we can just kind of like explain it through the description, which I think actually works very well. It was kind of along the lines of what I expected it to become. But yeah, it doesn't look like a trap, and I don't fault you for feeling that way. I understand that completely. But I think the description does it justice in terms of turning it into a trap. It's very much like Superman prison kind of thing, if you're familiar with that. Although it's not a one or a two-dimensional kind of prison, it is kind of like some kind of dimensional trap where they just get sucked in, Ghostbuster style, I suppose. Looks more like part of a trap. Mm-hmm. Kind of looks too small. Oh, did they? Oh, I didn't verify. But that one is designed to be on the small base. Like the base is shrunk down. I don't actually think I checked if it was. I should probably do that because it is supposed to look pretty big. Part drop rate is way too low, too frustrating. It'll be a one and done area for most. Yes, actually, it is designed as an above and beyond kind of mechanic. In which case, a lot of the design is based around. There's a good chance you're gonna maybe get like one piece, maybe you'll get 2 of the same piece, and so it kind of plays with the market, where like maybe you'll sell an extra piece you get to buy one that you don't have, and it's kind of designed to encourage market use, work with supply and demand, all that kind of stuff. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I was very interested in seeing how that would affect things in the game. And yes, it is possible to do it yourself, but it is designed to be very difficult. However, if you're doing maps with like 5 people, you can basically do a map pretty easily in less than a day. I've already done 3 maps, as I mentioned, so it's gonna kind of like eat up some of those ancient relics, and encourages party kind of group play, which I'm enjoying. I haven't actually been this active with maps for a little while, so I'm enjoying that. And then hopefully you get lucky and get a drop at some point. But as you're doing this, you're also building up Dawn Dust, and you can use that to craft the cheese and sell that, or all kinds of options. One of the things about it is there's a lot of different ways to kind of play it, to be a part of it. I think later on down the line, a lot of people are going to kind of treat it almost like the Marching Flame, where you might just go there to farm things and put on the market and make gold that way. We have a new trap skin for the new Loth trap. That might be a little while away, but I definitely see that as being a huge possibility. It's not an LE trap. It is best in class and will be for quite a while. So there's a good chance that we are definitely going to come up with many skins for it. No guarantee, but I expect that that will be the case, as we do like to kind of make skins for traps that we expect people to use. And technically, this isn't going to be an extremely difficult trap to get. It might be an extremely costly trap to get, which is kind of good for the economy. So it's kind of like there's a lot of factors in how you can play this content. So I hope that that interests a lot of people like it does me. But again, I get it's probably not for everybody. Missed the Droid Judge trap. That will be coming. I can't say when. Not with like the next release or anything, but it is going to be kind of in the game somewhere at some point. I know we kind of like we had a bit of a lull in kind of content creation, I think, at that point, and so we were just kind of like, all right, well, let's just make a law trap because we're going to need it, for future stuff. We made the law trap and deemed that the design of that just did not work for the Heart of the Meteor content. So we opted to save it for later law area, which there will be more law stuff to come, obviously, because we're giving out like a really challenging to get but like rewarding trap that hopefully you'll enjoy using in the future. And then, of course, you can also bring it back to previous law areas and use there. All right. It is, yeah, that's okay. So it's easy to get if you're willing to shell out the gold for it, which affects the supply and demand, which makes it more beneficial to go out and farm pieces to sell on the market, or just do yourself if you don't want to shell out the gold. So like there's a lot of interesting factors that I like about it. Yeah, no, I mean, Ryan, that's a perfectly valid frustration. It is designed that way, very much so that it's going to be a challenge to get it yourself, and you kind of have to decide where your level of kind of like, oh, I don't want to like farm anymore. I'll just shell out the gold to another player to kind of like get through it. And it's also not required content. It's an above and beyond mouse. Very much a mouse that's kind of like, it's a challenge that is you're not required to do it. Like getting the Rift base and stuff like that. They're kind of like really good components to have in your trap arsenal. The Shattered Carmine is not required to continue the storyline, but like it's cool to go get those, but it is gonna be hard, and so. For a lot of content that's really hard, we do want to put in fail safes for people to be able to do it. And this one's using a different failsafe than we normally use. Well, I mean, we try different failsafes for like every kind of piece that we put out, and this one it utilizes the market, which encourages a lot of kind of social play. So might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I think a lot of people will get a lot out of it. So we'll see that. Sorry, I haven't been like really good at reading the chat. But yeah. Yeah, I can imagine there will be skins for the new trap. And yeah, like these things, it's early, kind of early in the content. So you might see that, when things balance out, supply and demand is something that takes a little time to find its equilibrium. You might find that the prices become more reasonable if you wait on it a little bit. A lot of the time when fresh content comes out, people want to be the first to do it and kind of like take advantage of the market while people don't really know the total value. So like I was watching the market when this content first released, and the core, the Portal core, first one that went up in the market was 44 million, or no, I think it was like 440 million or something. But basically, it's just kind of like spikes up there because it's the very first. But give it a little bit of time, let people run through the content, and you'll find that the prices will kind of find where they're supposed to be. Because either they won't sell and people will drop prices and undercut each other until the point that they do, or if they're not expensive enough, they'll all sell. But I don't think that's the case yet. So I imagine the prices will kind of come down. Learn econs from FBF. I love economy. Games economies are very interesting. They're often extremely broken, and the MouseHunt economy is definitely broken. There is a massive influx of gold and not a lot that takes gold out. So one of the things I felt that was going to be a benefit would be more activity in the market, because the tariff helps kind of pull some gold out, albeit not enough. But yeah, there's things that I'd like to see done with the MouseHunt economy. It is definitely. I mean, you guys yourselves have witnessed the inflation of kind of like just all kinds of things. It's not balanced properly. There's not enough kind of pulling out of the economy. So it'd be interesting to kind of actually have a proper economist to like come in and look at this and just like hear what they would have to say about it. But I know there's definitely systems that could be in place that aren't, that I think would benefit the system. So maybe in the future we'll look into that kind of stuff. It's not so broken that we don't kind of like we don't think it works. Obviously, we're all having fun with it, and honestly, one of the solutions is Ronza. She comes in and gobbles up a lot of the gold, like once a year, and that kind of resets things. So it's interesting. Honestly, someone who studies economy would probably find this fascinating. Just how weird some of the fixes we do for it are. Yeah. All right. So what do you guys think? We start some art. Kind of rambling a lot. Just taking a quick look at the chat. You can analyze the actual value of Superbri. That is one of the kind of benchmarks. But in the market, there is the history kind of markers, so you can kind of like, I don't know if there's a documented kind of like chronological, chart anywhere, but you can kind of witness the fluctuation of it, and generally around kind of events and content, you'll see it change more dramatically there, but especially with Ronza. But yeah, Ronza is designed to just eat up the gold, which helps us prevent having to create traps that cost you, 50 million gold just to buy from the shop or like the cheese having to cost, $1 million each just for regular hunting, that kind of craziness. So it's interesting. All right. Yeah, if you want to just focus on, if you want to understand what content do I have to do to actually get through the game and what's required of me, like Heart of the Meteor is not required content. You can essentially look at the adventure book as Dennis was mentioning, and it will kind of like lay out what is kind of required to go through the content. You don't have to go get the magmatic golem You don't, yeah, you don't have to get like a lot of kind of hard, challenging mice. They're set there as bonus challenges, and the Heart of the Meteor is a bonus challenge. Um, oh, thank you, Caspian. That is nice. All right. Mm, that's a good point, Michelle. It's a bit hard to track when players use the market to transfer items for cheap. It does happen. That's kind of, I don't know what we could do about that. Um, uh, so for the question of why Super Breed prices have been steadily rising over the past few months, generally it's a supply and demand thing. If less people are putting Super Brie into the market, naturally the price is going to go up. And if there is more higher value content that people can use Super Brie for, it's going to increase the value of Super Brie because more people will want to use it because it generates better value for them if they do use it. So they'll buy it up for that. Also, events and stuff like that where like the birthday, if you use a potion that uses Super Brie, you get more cheese for that. So maybe that kind of stuff affects it. Oh gosh, it's just like licking his paw. All right. Price spike last week also is because players might sell one piece for 900 million gold, um, which yeah is ridiculous because tariff. Um, yeah, but that'll change the value as well. So there's also edge cases of strange things that our market kind of recording uh, feature doesn't have the ability to account for. But yeah. All right. So as interesting as this is, I'm also not necessarily too specialized in it, so I probably shouldn't be kind of like speaking of it as if it were a matter of fact because I probably have the least knowledge in this kind of stuff. So let us figure out what art we want to do. So there's a few mice on the docket that I was considering doing today. We could do the Rift Realm Ripper, which should be a new one. The Rift Skeleton. Let's see. Could do a Rift Spider Mouse. Should be very creepy. I was working on the Gate Guardian already. That one's out of there. Could do the Rift Chrono. Rift everything. We're gonna save the Acolyte. We're gonna do that one later. I think when we've kind of completed pretty much all of the content, we'll have the largest library of design to work from because it's kind of going to be the boss. Want to just like pull the coolest elements from all the designs we've created. So I generally save the bosses to the end, especially if it's heavily themed, which this one is. All right, so Rift Skeletor. All right, that'd be fun. Chrono, Rift Eclipse, Rift Reaper is a must. Chrono would be cool. I wouldn't agree. I wouldn't disagree with that. I do love the Chrono mess a lot. It was a design by a fan, which is a fantastic design. We repainted it for the game, and now we're gonna repaint it again and take the design even further. Yeah. So Dennis is making a poll. Let's just throw it between these options since there are more, but I want to narrow it down already. We're going to have it between the Realm Ripper, the Skeleton, the Spider, and the Chrono. Let's say those four. So Dennis, our mod, is going to make us a little poll where you guys get to vote on what you want to see drawn today. And then we will attempt to create that and make it awesome. Been working with some new kind of techniques for this area. Obviously, since a Rift, we are adding backgrounds, which is going to allow us to create a lot more atmosphere. Poll is up. Go there and add your vote. Look at this go. It's flying. So far, the Chrono is ahead by 5 as a consistent. Yeah. Chrono is definitely looking like it's going to be the one, which I'm not upset about. I was kind of hoping it might be that one. Chrono is going to allow for a lot of design elements, which honestly is going to take a lot of work. So I don't think we're going to get this one done today, but we will see how far we get. Only 2 people want to see the spider. Got a lot of votes in. This is great. I'm going to go grab some water. You guys keep voting. We're at 46, right? Nope. We're at 50. Okay, we're at 49. I'm going to grab water. I'm going to let this run for a minute. I think it's going to be hard to beat the Chrono, though. So be right back, though. All right. We have nearly 60 votes. Very nice. Very nice. I got some sparkling water. Delicious. All right. Thank you, Murky Demon. It is at 61 votes. We are 35 for the Chrono, 19 for the Realm Ripper, 4 for the Skeleton, 3 for the Spider. It's gone up by 1. But I think that is going to take the cake. Chrono it is. All right. So that's going to be it for the vote. I don't think, even if I gave it 10 minutes, it could be any different. So let us open up our template file, and then I'll switch the camera over. Oh, great. I name changed things, so I can't find it in the recent process. There it is. Alex's CD-ROM drive is like being weird. Now my Photoshop is being weird. What is happening? There we go. All right. So here we have, this is just a template file. template file for creating our mouse. As I mentioned, the designs we're working with for this rift is very atmospheric. All the other rifts have background elements, unlike non-rift areas. In this one, we're playing with a lot more lighting. So we underlight the characters for a very dramatic feel, and kind of have some sparkly dust being caught by that, and have some clockwork floating in the background. So should be a pretty cool area. I think it's going to feel very spooky and very intense. So what we need to do now is sketch out our Chronomouse. First I'm going to give this a new name. Oop, not that one, this one. This will allow me to properly save as I work. Feels very Doctor Who. Nice. It's toasty in here. Sunlight coming through the windows, warming the place up. All right. Yeah, actually, since I went away to Boston, we left the cats here for a couple of days under the care of our good friends who come in and take care of them. But I have not been able to find my drawing glove since then. I fear that the cats may have whisked it away into some unknown dimension. So I'm sans glove. I'll have to create or order a new one. Which is fine. It was getting kind of worn out anyways. Alright, let me just check the group chat for work, see if I'm missing anything important. Just some good jokes. Alright. We're good. So, I'm going to pull up... Oh my goodness, I had such a good time in Boston. Yeah, we went to PAX East. We were there for the whole event. Went to several panels. Got to see a sketch comedy group from Australia at the very end and hang out with them for a little bit. It was amazing fun. No! Sorry, I just said no because the cats are... He's speaking for my cats, letting me know their demands. All right. Yeah, I had a ton of fun. There was a lot of really interesting panels for games that I'm interested in, stuff like that. A lot of cool stuff to see on the showroom floor. And in general, just a lot of cool friends and stuff that were there to hang out with. Why is that not carrying over? All right, I have to copy. See, one thing about PC Photoshop versus Mac Photoshop, you can't just like drag and drop. Let us paste. There we go. So we have the Chronomouse here, who is awesome. But we are going to redesign him. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a long day. Honestly, I'm probably going to stream until like 6:30. Just going to be a long one. Might be the longest we've had. Who knows, though. So let's see. I don't know if it's worth trying to get rid of the backdrop here on this. Nah, that looks terrible. We'll just leave it. Okay, so put that at the bottom. more clockwork / steampunky, I think we can do that. Oh, I'm gonna message Lauren about something really quick. He controls time, right? What about graviton waves? Blurry effects to create the illusion of time bending around him. That'd be neat. Graviton waves would be very difficult to illustrate. Although, if it was like things like stretching and rippling, that might work. Could use like a liquefy filter for that, maybe something like that. More hourglasses. That's how you enhance them. Just more of them. He's gone digital. No longer this analog apparatus. The next level is digital. Zapil? Don't know what that is. Googling. It's like some kind of angel of time or something. It's got clock eyeballs. It's pretty cool. I have not seen this anime. I'm unfamiliar with it. Looks like it could be cool, though. Pay homage to H.G. Wells and do a time machine steampunk look. I think we're going to use some steampunk elements. The whole clockwork in the background is definitely an indication of the direction this is going to go. Oh, sweet. Lauren just sent me an image. Ooh. Cool. All right, so Lauren's killing it with the magical effects. No surprise there. We're gonna incorporate some of this kind of stuff. Cool. All right. It's kind of like a blue fire lightning thing, which looks pretty sweet. Sorry about that. That was rude. Okay. So I think chatter-wise, we've figured that out. All right, let's do some sketching. So I'm gonna start by turning this backdrop down. so that it's not going to take over the sketch, since we're going to be drawing in black, just to scribble it out. Okay, so we have this character originally, and we're going to riftify. So in general, that means, making them way cooler. By kind of accentuating the design of the original. So like if it was like kind of a muscly warrior punchy guy, we'd make him like huge and crazy scary and more weapons and all that kind of cool stuff. For this one, however, it's kind of like more wizardly, magical, you know, a mancer. So I think we can enhance how cool his hourglass is. Make that like a nice design, very kind of gothic even, perhaps. I don't know. Clock that he's standing on, I have an idea of what I want to do. Just make it like super steampunky. Dial it up to 11. Yeah, exactly that. As for the structure of the mouse, I think we could leave it relatively the same, but like let's make those robes so much cooler. And then it's got like these watches on its arms, right? So I was thinking maybe its arms are clocks or something crazy. Like let's go nuts with it. So like if it had like machine arms with like clock faces on them or something like that. So one of the kind of vague ideas, and this isn't canon necessarily, is the Rift mice are kind of more of the original mice that exist in this universe. And just because this alternate dimension, the veil between the world of Narnia and the Rift itself is thinning, these entities have been influencing the regular mice of the MouseHunt world and transforming them to be facsimiles of them. So like the Chrono Mouse in the game currently is almost emulating the original Chrono Mouse from the Rift world. So like if the original from the Rift world has, sorry, I have a cat falling through a window. I have like cardboard on my windows to block out this insane sunlight. And the cats like to kind of get between the window and the cardboard because there's just like soaking up the warmth. But when you have really kind of rotund cats, because you go away on vacation, they just eat all of their food at once, and then they lay down against that, it kind of pries it away from the window. So I think the cardboard just fell a little bit. Anyways, so when you have, the Chrono Mouse that you guys are familiar with, emulating this kind of like super crazy Rift Chrono, who like has like clock hands built into its arm, it's gonna like be like, oh, I want to be that cool. Maybe not knowingly, not aware of why it is doing this, but then it like collects other watches and wears them on its arm to kind of like become, the Chrono Mouse, stuff like that. So that's kind of an idea. Just a thing. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so I was thinking it could have like actual like clocks built into its arms and cool stuff like that. All right. Yeah, those are little sundials floating near the waist. Let's get a nice close zoom in on this guy, since a lot of the mice aren't necessarily super visible in the game. You can go to the mouse page and look at them, and then click on them, and then click on them again, and like get a bigger version. But like, you don't necessarily get to see all the details. I believe we illustrated this one as a live Feedback Friday a long time back. But yeah, it's got them sundials, all kinds of stuff. He was really fun. And again, based off a really great design that I didn't come up with. Thinking of making the background have this huge analog circle clock, but with the numbers in it be digital. Long, skinny hourglass arms, maybe the torso made of an hourglass, like a steampunk corset or something. I mean, we can adjust the robes potentially. I've kind of changed the designs of what the mice are wearing a little. It doesn't need to be super duper emulating the original illustrations. They're just kind of like they have similar elements. So like you might see the new Gate Guardian and be like, oh right, like this is this element from the character, and oh I see, like these are the similarities, but like other things are different. So we'll see, we'll see. Make the Chrono Rift mouse in Paint. That would be really neat, but I don't have Paint on this machine. I'm very inexperienced with the program. So as awesome as that would look and be, that would not be ideal for a mouse that I already expect is going to take longer than I would like. So, yeah, don't know if that's ideal. Hourglass being smashed and the sands dropping onto the mouse would be cool too. Ooh. Ah. I almost like it, like, imagining that it was like, okay. I don't know how well it would read. But what if it was like mid-explosion or something crazy and like it was frozen in time? Now, the challenge of that is it's a static illustration. You can't move around it and like see different angles. It is, an image. So it's already gonna, look frozen. In which case it'll look like it's currently exploding. I don't know. All right. Yeah, if I could like, if you could walk around this thing, it would be awesome. Like having like a cracked and exploding hourglass or something where it's like mid explosion, because then it's like, oh whoa, like time has stopped, but because it's a static illustration, you don't know that it's supposed to be stopped, so it'll just look like it's exploding. So I don't know if I can do that idea, but maybe we can try something. So let's start. Now, if I put this disc like down here and have a mouse on it, immediately this disc is like blocking so much light, which, the light is coming up from the bottom. And if it's hitting the bottom of the disc, it's stopped and it can't, like go up onto the mouse, which I'm thinking might look really cool. So if this is like tilted enough so that like parts of the mouse are beyond, sticking out, the light will kind of like come up and hit those parts, like a hand or something like that, maybe the side of its face and an ear. It'll hit those parts, but then everything else will be in like crazy shadow. And then if we overexpose the light on like the exposed parts, so like the ear and the arm, and like a little bit of the hood or something like that, and we like really blow out that light, then we can have the shadows have a lot more detail. There's like a whole big thing of why that might look cool. It involves kind of like the range of what cameras can kind of capture. and kind of it limits the amount of light that it can expose. So it'll either, you know, like if there's a lot of light in a shot, it'll kind of like look for the detail in the lit areas, but the shadows will be kind of washed out, and kind of, you know, things will like get cut off on the darker spectrum. But if you like focus on the shadow areas, things that have a lot of light are going to kind of get cut off, and anything beyond a certain range of wavelength is going to be too bright. And so it'll just kind of like overexpose it. But when you can kind of get that right, you know, amount of exposure and stuff like that, you can create some pretty cool effects. And it's, again, it's something that's emulated by, or that it is something we emulate because of cameras, whereas the human eye can kind of like pick out a much wider range. It might not have the shadows fall off, or it might not have the light overexpose. So I don't know. Maybe we'll try that. Right now we're in the sketch phase, so we'll explore stuff. Hopefully find something really cool. Yeah, and there could be like gaps in the clock. So for the I may undo. Actually, I'll leave that. Let's just erase these arrows. Don't need you. So what I was thinking for the clock face is if it's more kind of steampunky, like there's kind of plates with exposed areas, and it's all like brass, and then there'd be like, that's a terrible gear, but I want it to be bigger. That there's like a gear and like little cogs, stuff like that, and then, you know, another plate here or something like that. And then, you know, you can have etched in numbers, that kind of thing. And if there's just like layers to it and like small moving parts, not that they'd be moving in the illustration, obviously, but like, you know, you get the idea. Something more like that, and then this could be, you know, like a clock hand or something. Something like that might be neat. But then, yeah, like little gaps in this area, you know, down here would allow the light to pass through. So you'd get like almost like someone walking in a brightly lit forest where like the branches are casting and the leaves are casting shadows, and there's gaps between those, and that's where it kind of lights up. Might be a challenge to make that look good, make it make sense, but I'm always interested in challenging myself on live feed because I'm ridiculous. And why not? Let's do that. What better way to learn than trial by fire? So I'll actually use this as the sketch because it's pretty all right. I think it's kind of the angle that I want to go. We're going to kind of rotate it maybe a little bit and then squish it down and translate it into kind of that perspective. But this will be a good base to start with. So I'll just kind of see if I want to refine any of that. So all the guts on the inside, they're going to have to kind of like shift because we're no longer looking at it you know, straight on. We're going to be looking at it from an angle. So all the kind of stuff that's stacked on each other is no longer going to be directly in front of each other. It's going to be below, you know, and on top. So we'll just have to shift like this gear at least, and the arm here to kind of convey the different heights of things. There might be digital clocks. I'm not necessarily opposed to that, but like probably going with a lot more old school steampunk look. But we might have, I mean, one thing that I've done is I've done kind of light up almost like it is a digital clock, but like still, what is it called? Roman numerals. There we go. Yeah, I've done like light up Roman numerals, which kind of like have a digital feel, but are still very old school. So kind of like an interesting mix between the two, maybe. So we'll do 12 o'clock there, 3 o'clock here, and then do one here for 9 o'clock. There we go. So we got our clock face. I'm going to use a lighter eraser. So I'm using a slightly different tool set than I normally do. We made some custom brushes to create the backdrop. So the organization of my regular brushes is a little off. They're a little harder to find sometimes, so might slow things down a tiny, tiny amount. All right, so I'm just going to lighten the elements that are going to be shifted above and below. But I think this is a good start. I think rotationally, this is actually a pretty good angle because we have this kind of gap here with exposed pieces. We have these parts that are going to be visible, which will help convey this is clock face, and then we might choose where we want to put the arm, because that's going to be kind of back here, which is probably all right. And then maybe we'll have an hour hand here or here, who knows. Yeah, I think let's just lighten up on this scribble. And again, we're going to be really loose and do a lot of iteration on the sketch because there's a lot of foundation to set with the design. So let's actually copy this. I don't want to necessarily commit to this specifically. We might want to try a couple of different things with it. So I'll just make sure that there's an original kind of sketch saved. Okay, so this might be a good angle. You can kind of see what's happening a little bit. We're going to tweak things. So I'm going to round this out, almost like it's a cheese wheel. And that'll play with the light really nicely because it's going to be kind of, you know, like a metal brass or something like that, that close to the light source. It's going to pick up a lot of light, splash it in our face. It should look pretty cool. I'm going to have this plate bend around, and then this one as well will kind of bend around. And I'll just lighten that edge since it's kind of beveled, so it won't necessarily have a very hard edge. This, you're going to see the back of that. And then let's lower the components in here to kind of like give it good dimension. Okay. Just remove some of the debris from the original sketch there. What else? I'm gonna move the bottom of this inside so there's very obviously multiple layers of stuff happening. Yeah, so it's kind of like a plate inside a plate. Although I might actually make this all open gears instead of a hard kind of surface there. That'll probably look even cooler. So like if this was a gear, if this was a gear, if there was like a little metal piece of something, basically just kind of emulate a little clockwork thing going on. Okay. Just a whole lot of moving pieces on the inside of that. We don't need to go crazy detailed on that right now. A lot of that's going to be silhouetted and probably covered in mouse robe or something, so let's not go crazy on it. Ooh, it must be floating above the disc or on it. Good question. It could just be floating. It is going to be a very magical mouse. Are you feeling sicky? Yep. That con flu. Just add more exposed areas for just kind of cool interest. It used to be like a winding up area or something. Just have like gear there. Cool. All right. We can figure out the clock hands later. All right. Let's figure out the mouse a little more. So I'm just gonna lighten up that scribble. And then it kind of reminds me of the Millennium Falcon. I like it. Okay, I'm actually, no, I'll do it on a different layer. Just trying to think of what the pose might be like. So I want some parts covered by the shadow that this clock face would cast. And then I also want areas sticking out so the light catches it. It's going to be very robed. Just going to erase this even more. Okay, let's try some scribbles. So let's try the original pose. Let's just hide this on a different layer so we don't lose it, but it's not going to interfere. Can he be physically bigger? Yes. Yes, he can. It's not a very interesting pose. What if he's like, this is going to be very kind of muddy scribbles, like gesture drawing. So it might be hard to tell what is happening in the sketch initially. I don't know if we'd want this, but we could like make him look like he's like falling. His magic is so powerful or something, it's blasting him back. Could have him like just ripping at this clock or something. It's like he's got like a super kind of intense pose. I don't want to explore the like being blasted back thing. That's a scribble. Let's try a couple others. I have kind of giant hourglass here, just as a prop. Yeah, I don't think we're going to go with an awkward pose. I think we'll do a much stronger, more powerful one, because this is also going to be kind of like a key character to go after in this area. It's going to have some mechanics based on it, I believe. So we're going to make him tough and awesome. What if he's just like staring at you? Like he's just like, I've been waiting for you kind of thing. Just ready. He knew you were coming this whole time. He's prepared. Alright, let's shrink this down a little. It's a very long arm, short torso. What is anatomy? Yeah, I wanted to like show off its clock arms, so make sure the sleeves expose them. Yeah, the hourglass is definitely gonna get reworked. Definitely. So scribbly. Yeah. Flash. How's it going, bud? Need to go out? So I'm thinking it'll be like completely steampunk arm or something like that. All gears and cogs and coolness. So we'll have to get in there and get some cool details in there. I might extend this up a little bit further. Have like a gap right there or something. And what if like half of its face? Kind of like clockwork or something like that. Gotta figure this leg situation. It's not where it needs to be yet. So I'll have the robes like flying out this way. So he's like raising his arm really quickly and it's pulling the robe in that direction. Ooh, that's interesting. Have one side of the robe's torn and tattered and the other as good as new. Interesting. I like that. Especially if it's like split right down the middle. That's a cool idea. I'll have this side be all torn and tattered. It's like the ravages of time. And then this side all pristine. Yeah. All right. All right. I'm gonna take a few minutes break and take Wash outside. He's needing to do the washrooms. All right. So I will be back. We will continue the scribbles. I'll give this a quick save. Cool, cool. All right. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. BRB. So we're just going to keep working on this sketch until we're confident this is what we want to go with, and then render it out. I feel like maybe the tail would be on this side to help them balance. Alright, I'm pretty happy with it though. I think we'll probably go this route. Maybe adjust this part so that it's standing on a plate as opposed to the open clockwork area. So that would make more sense. And just adjusting this here. And hiding that. Cool. Kind of want the hourglass to be. Oop, don't erase all that. To be like behind him. Get rid of that scribble. Let's move you down here. Alright, so we just start with a quick little scribble of the clockwork and then explode it to be the size that we want and add cool details. This cute cat. Washing his favorite chair. I have little Charlie asleep on my keyboard. Chat is broken. Fix that. There we go. Make the tail look like a clock needle. I like that. Okay, so we got our sundial. Scribble. No? Filled that up this morning. Could actually be kind of cool, like if I use that as a light source. Alright, then we can just erase away where it's interfering. Cool. No, it's Gara. Spoilers, Dario. Yeah, do we want it to be like on his back? Or do we want him to be like floating it? Trying to fit it all in frame, you know? Maybe if we shrink it down a little bit. I do kind of like the imagery of it on its back. It's kind of neat. Don't want to lose sight of it being an hourglass. Oh, there's such a delay with the chat. It's ridiculous. Maybe there is good. So it doesn't quite feel like it's strapped to his back, but he's still overlapping it. I want it to feel like it's floating behind him right now. I just heard that perfectly in my head, Dennis. What is that a reference to KDM? And would it be its left be purple and its right be red, or would it be from our perspective? Because that is something we could potentially do if it's a good reference. So I'm unfamiliar with it. Oh, I didn't see a link. No. That's true. Could use the mouse to cast shadow. Okay. I might extend out the foot so the toes are like right on the edge so they catch a little bit of the light. Hang 5 kind of thing. All right. that looked bad. I think it's fine where it is. I think maybe instead we can just open this up a bit more. And have a window for more light to come through. Oh, is it Gara's eyes that are that way? That would make sense, if that is the reference you're going for. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of Naruto. Got that sweet eyeliner. Yeah, he's just got the light blue eyes, and then no. Don't know. Alright. Let's get back to sketching. Oh, you sent it on my Facebook. Alright. I can hurl all good. Alright. Ooh, that's neat. Cool. Alright. The sands of time floating around his hands. Might work. Alright, so let's do something with the hourglass, make it look real cool. Sorry, I'm just Google searching for some inspiration. Hmm. All right. I don't want to go too crazy with the this contraption. I feel like I could probably end up spending a whole day on it if I wanted. I don't think we need to go that far. Ooh, see a chance to put either initials or digital clocks on the hourglass. That is true. Nice, Ryan. Good job. Congrats. Nice collectible idea. too crazy on this. Do you want to finish this sketch at least? Nine mice left on my map. All right. Bring the mouse back. It's got a lot of pretty cool detail in it, I think. Can add more as we render it out too. All right, that's quite a lot of detail, I think. Oh, we are missing the hourglass, or sorry, not the hourglass, the sundials, there we go. Sundials kind of floating around him. So I don't know if we want to add anything like that. Might look cool with the dramatic lighting, to be honest. Could just have them kind of randomly floating everywhere. Ooh, I have an idea. Sweet. All right. I think I'm pretty happy with where this has gotten to. Digital clock is right here. Or part of it. Not sure what this part should be. Just a cog on the belt. Might be needlessly complicated there. Yeah, I don't think that reads. Does not read how I want it to. Let's try more traditional. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the belt. Get rid of that. if there were just no clock hands on this? Bent clock hands? I like that actually. Okay, I think we are at a point where we can start to drop in some colors. Yeah, the clock hands on the actual surfboard. Do something. How about Got that 3-7. All right, let's give it a flip. Doesn't quite feel like that finger would be bending quite like that. Let's do that instead. I flip the image before coloring just because it gives me fresh eyes on the image and I can see if anything looks off before I commit to coloring it. It's like holding up a painting in a mirror. It's a good sign if you prefer it flipped. All right, so I think we're pretty good. Let's start dropping some colors. I'm going to group this up. This can also go in a group as old reference stuff. Alright, and then we're going to drop the sketch down to about 30%. Let's start with the clock base. We'll use a brass type color. Probably go darker than that. Using our hard-edged opaque brush, we're just going to fill in the silhouettes with a placeholder color. Part looks like it gets covered anyways. I'll just add an extra gimbal, or not gimbal, I forget what the term is called. Greeble? Yeah. Add some extra greeble here. Cool. All right. So that's the silhouette for that. It's like 2 o'clock. Holy cow. I think, all right, I'm going to quickly block in the rest of the sketch, and then I'm going to figure out lunch, because I should probably eat something. And then we'll come back and continue, because I'm going to be painting right up until the end of the day. There's a lot to do on this one. So I'm going to give it a quick save. We're going to keep drawing, and then I'm going to figure out lunch. So we'll take an hour break in a few minutes, probably at 2 o'clock, which is about 15 minutes away. All right, so we'll do the layer above, and we're just going to block in really quick with, let's see, we'll use this like red, crimson. These crimson robes. This will look good to kind of like have tattered and worn and also brand new and pretty at the same time. Okay, and then we'll do a layer for the mouse. And then the clock. And then break time. We use the same kind of bronze color here, I think, for now. Just gonna block this in. Ear as well. This one's a very loose scribble, so we can just kind of figure it out as we go. Should be neat. Yeah, we could like do silver as well. To make this disappear for a second so I can see what I'm doing with the feet. So just the same color. And now the feet I don't think are going to be brass. I'm just using this color to kind of fill in the silhouette. Okay. Let's just shift this to like a brown. Though he's a gray. Yes, so let's just do that. There'll be a lot of occlusion in that area, so it'll be quite dark. Hidden in shadow. Alright, final part. Oh yeah, gotta do the face. That might be important. And the tail. hourglass. Let's do silver for now. Drop this behind everything. Oh my god, it's nearly 5 a.m. where you are? What are you doing up? You crazy. Crazy. I will, of course, post this on my wall when we're done for the day, even if we don't complete it. So don't feel like you need to absolutely stay up if you want to just see what this turns into. Just need to follow me on Facebook and you'll get to see it. I think this will actually look better in brass. I think we'll do the metal pieces in one layer and the glass on another. Enjoy your card reveal, Dennis. Okay, one layer below that. Just do this color. Why not? Get these little sundials real quick. All right, let's give it a flip. And a save, and then we are going to go on our hour-long break. Oh, right. Gotta give it a new save name. There we go. All right, so time for a little break. All right, so I will see you guys again in 1 hour. I'll put up a little timer so you guys can keep checking in and know exactly when I'll be back. But until then, have a good break. See you guys when I get back.